Hi, I'm Juanita from Nearby Artisans, and I'm going to show you how I use Color Picker, how I make my own distressed fonts, and how I use shadows. I'm going to get a new mat here, and the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I use Color Picker. I have a picture I've already uploaded, and it's this picture of Bermuda. Bermuda is beautiful, by the way, and it is wonderful to go there. It really does look like this. This is not my picture because my picture had people in it, and I wasn't able to get any pictures without the people. And the time of day it was, the sand wasn't really as vibrant, but it was beautiful. It really is pretty much these colors. So I'm going to make a Christmas ornament for my daughter out of this picture, and I'm going to also use this for scrapbooking. When I make the ornament for her, I'm going to just make a circle and a rectangle and make the ornament template, and then I'll put this in a glass ornament, and I'll use some of the pink sand that we brought back for the bottom. So how I'm going to make the postcard for the scrapbook is I'm going to go ahead and type in some text. And I'm going to make a duplicate of the text because I want some of the pink sand color and some of the blue ocean color in this, and then I'm going to layer this. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to a website called Color Picker. I have already uploaded the picture here, but I'm going to do it again just so you can see how it works. So upload your image. I'm going to browse. I'm going to get the pink sand from my hard drive, and I usually put anything I'm going to upload in its own little folder so that my other files aren't in there. So I'm going to send the image. And now here's my picture, and I'm going to go ahead and pick some of the blue ocean. And you can see how this changes as I click on an area. How the ocean colors change. And I want a really turquoisey blue, not too green. I like that. So now I'm going to highlight the hex code, or the HTML code in this case, and you can also get the RGB codes here. You could write those down, keep a book if you really like these colors and you want to use them again. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to go to Cricut Design Space. I'm going to give a pattern, a print for the letters here, and now I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to paste in the code. And now that's that color that I chose, and I like that. And now I'm going to choose a pink. So I'm going to go back to the Color Picker online. There are so many color pickers that you can use online. You just find one that you like. I happen to like this one a lot. So I'm going to just find a pink. I'm going to put my words here, and when I have it on an ornament, it'll probably be more down here in the center. So I'm going to pick a kind of a darker pink. So I'm going to pick that one. That might kind of match over here. No, that's darker. So, okay, I like that. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and try that one. I can always change it. I'm going to highlight the code, copy it, go to Cricut Design Space. I'm going to give this the print and paste in the code. And those are the two colors, and those are just such beautiful colors. And now, now I'm going to line these up, and I want to have the blue be a shadow. So what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I have a good shadow here, and I'm going to do shadowing at the end of this video. I like that. I'm going to group it I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to paste that right there. And see, it just shows up a little bit, but that's what I wanted. And so this is and now I would go ahead and save this, but this isn't my picture again, and I'm not going to save this one. So I'm just going to get a new screen now, and now I'm going to create some distressed fonts. I'm going to create a master distressed file. So I'm going to go to Microsoft Paint. Microsoft Paint used to come automatically free with Windows. I don't know that it comes automatically with all of the Windows software today, but you can still get it from the Microsoft website. It's free. You just go there, type in the search, find it, and download it. It is not fancy like Photoshop or CorelDRAW or any of the photo editing software packages because it wasn't intended for that. This is just a quick make an image, give it a color, or create a background. I mean, it still has a lot of nice uses, and it is free for those of you that don't have all the other software packages. And for the distressed fonts, it's perfect. It's very easy to use. I used to teach a kindergarten through 4th grade class, and this was their introduction to computers, and it was amazing what kids could do with this little software package. So I'm going to set my size here, although this doesn't matter for right now. I just want to have plenty of room. Okay. And now I'm going to click on the brushes here. I'm going to click on the airbrush. I want to make sure the size is the maximum size, and I need to make sure that I have a dark color and a light color. And it doesn't matter what color you use because this is still going to end up being black, and this is still going to end up being blank space. So I just leave it at that, and I'm just going to go back and forth. And the edges here don't matter because, as you'll see in a minute, those aren't even going to be in it. Now, I'm going to create a very lightly airbrushed area and then a darker airbrushed area under here. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now because I already do have those files, but I would just create a heavy airbrush. And right now it doesn't really matter what we do because I am going to click on Select, Rectangular Selection. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to crop. And the reason I'm doing that is because these dots are very, very tiny when you pull them into Cricut Design Space, and I want them to be fairly large. And I can keep going across with the airbrush, but as I do that, it's just getting darker and darker, and I don't want it so dark. And also, color 1 is your left mouse button, color 2 is your right mouse button. So if you decide, well, I just really made that way too dark, you could just click on your right mouse button with the lighter color, the white, and go over it and get rid of some of that darkness and lighten it up a bit. And see, now it looks like those look like they're pretty big, but they're actually not. This is 400 times larger. So there's a way around that though. I'm going to pull this out. I already cropped it. I'm going to pull this out, and now I am going to get my select tool again. I'm going to grab all of that. I'm going to pull that to the center, and now I'm going to stretch this area. I'm going to stretch it out, and that is making those dots larger. And I can kind of show you by typing in a text here. I'll just type in the letter A because I can just delete that. And now if I go on and I click on that and see how that stretches out, that's what's happening to that to those dots behind. So I'm going to go ahead now and get rid of that and airbrush over it. And again, that won't matter because I'll probably pick from here and stretch. I'm going to again go to my rectangular selection. I'm going to click this area right here. I'm going to crop that. I'm going to pull this down, and I could pull this down from the corners or from the sides, but I'm going to click all of that, bring it to the middle, stretch again, and I might go ahead and do some more airbrushing in between, because that way I'm also getting different sizes and it's not all uniform one large size. And again, I'm only going to be using sections of this when I do the distressed on a letter or a design. So kind of flow back and forth. Okay, and now I'm going to select again. Get a center area. I'm going to crop and pull that out, and one more time. And now you could do this several times. If you're making a master distressed file, you might want to do this several times and get it just right. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out again. And now I'm going to select one more time. I'm going to crop. And before I save this, I'm going to go ahead and create a couple of little streaks in here. But I don't want those streaks to touch too much. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to get that brush. And I'm going to just kind of go over like that. And now I'm going to click my right mouse button and lighten it up some and not have too much together here. And I'm going to lighten some of these right next to it too. Okay, so now I'm going to save that as Distressed 3 because I do have a couple other files in there. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull it into my Cricut software. So we have Distressed 3. Now I'm going to go in and do the editing. I'm going to click on Simple. I'm going to get the Select and Erase. I'm going to just pick a white area. And now you can see that all, and I can preview to make sure that I don't have any sections that are white that are too, like right here. If I click on that, if I pick that area, it's really going to give me, it's going to give me too much white. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that again. I'm going to go in, zoom in. I want to zoom in, and I want to get rid of some of that right there and there. And I can get rid of some of these bigger, especially around something like right here. I need to get rid of some of these larger areas because I just want the little dots. And I might zoom in again, see what I'm getting, because if I put the letter over that, that whole piece is going to, if it overlaps past my letter, it's going to want to grab some of the edge, and I don't want that. So I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and save that as a cut image. And I know it's working because the green bar is scrolling across the top. And now I'm going to put that into my matte area. I'm going to type in the text of, I want to go ahead and make this shorter. I'm going to unlock that and pull that up some, lock that back in. And now I'm going to type in the text. And I went with my other daughter to the Bahamas before I went to Bermuda. And I'm going to make this daughter a scrapbook also, and probably an ornament. So what I want to do here now is I want to give this a color that's lighter so I can see through these little dots. I also want to move that back. That way I can see what I have over it. Okay, so now I think I want to go ahead and make this larger. Clear over there and try to not have these smushed so much. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock that. I'm going to pull this down, giving myself more space in between and maybe outward. Now I'll lock that in again. I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to find an area where I like the look of the distressed area. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. I think I'll move this downward to this area here. And I'll see if I like it. If I don't like how that turned out, I'll just do another one. I'm going to go at first I want to get a copy of this. I'm going to duplicate it. That way, if I don't like how this turns out, I can just pick another section and I don't have to deal with trying to go backward so many times. I just have it right there. So I think I decided I don't want this clumpiness with my bee. And that's something you'll learn. And when you're creating your distressed file, you'll learn about, like, this is where I hit that airbrush and it just kind of blasted right there. So I would take the white, the right mouse button and kind of soften that a little bit. So I think I might not go with the I think I'm going to go ahead and get a section of this. So I'm going to get my shapes. I'm going to pull out my square. I am going to make it larger and wider. Pull this away. And now I only want these two. And I'm going to slice. I know it's working because the green bar is rolling across the top, so I know it's not stuck. Now I'm going to take this section here and I'm going to delete that. And then I'll delete this. So I'm going to go, because one was the part taken out and one is the part left. So I'm going to take that out. And now I can stretch this even more than it was before. And get some nice big chunks and some nice big areas there. And I think that I want, might even want to, oops, not that. I might even want to tilt this. Okay, I think I see the area I want. Once you do this a few times and you get a really good feel for this, you don't have to you don't have to go over this so much. Okay, I'm going to give that a try. So I'm going to click on both of those. I'm going to slice. I'm going to delete this. I'll pull my different sections out. And now this is what I have. And that was what I started with. Now I'm going to make both of these dark so you can see the difference. So I'll make that black. And this one black too. And now you see the difference of the distressed. And now I like this because distressed means that it was worn and parts of it are pulled and parts of the vinyl got peeled away. And this is what distressed means. That's what it is. It's not perfectly uniform dots across. However, if you like that, you can do that too. But it's a well-worn type look. And I really like that. I like how that turned out. So that's the distressed. And you can make, again, your very own distressed files. You can make a couple of them. You can make a really light one. You can make one heavier, one with streaks, without. And just have your, or you can even make sections. Just make one file and have sections have that. The only thing is you have to make sure that you don't have a file too large in the size-wise for the Cricut software. So you could make a couple, and that's kind of neat. Now I'm going to do text and have a shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in my daughter's name. And I'm just going to stick with this font. And the thing is, you can sell a lot of these things that I'm doing if you use fonts that do not have a copyright. And if you have a license to use them, some come with unlimited license. I don't know that you can sell them as yours, but there are plenty of free fonts that have been used for 100 years that no longer have a registration on them or a copyright on them. And if you use those, or just sit down with paper and pen and create your own fonts, and then you can sell these things. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of copies of this. So I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to duplicate it again. And now I'm going to move these out of the way. And I'm going to give them different colors so you can see the difference between them. So I think I'll give this one the color. And now this, you can use this with the vinyl. So this print is just for you to see the difference in the color. So I'll give that one red. And then I'll have this one, I'll give it a fill of a light gray, or a dark gray. Get that one right there. And then this one a lighter gray. I'm going to layer these. First I'm going to make a copy of all of them. For the couple of things that I'm going to do. So that's out of the way. So now what I'm going to do is have this one be in the front. This will be my second one. And then this is my last. Okay, so I need to move this one to the back. Okay, so now I can have just these two, and I can layer them that way. All I have to do to layer these is to make sure for a shadow that it is the same distance between the here as it is below. And you can see here it is not. So that would mean that the bright spot would be coming from this side directly. And I might want that. But if I want it to be coming from above, then I need to move it downward a little bit. And now I have that kind of a shadow. Now what I would do with this one, I'm going to line this up with the gray shadow, not the red. So again, I'm going to put that back there, and I am going to line those up. And now I have the layers here. I might, maybe I'll switch these two around so that you can see those better. So now I have this one. Now I'll move this one to the very back. And I needed to have the same distance below and to the side. And then this one aligned with the previous shadow, not with the L. Not with the word Rachel. So now you can kind of see how those are lined up. I'm going to go ahead and move this out a little bit more and move the bottom one. And I can click over here on the letters if I want to use that letter. And so I'll go ahead and move that down and move this one down even more. Move this one up a little. And there I have my distinct layers, and you can see the 3 levels and the colors. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is, that's kind of cool, I'm going to weld those, and now I'll have an even deeper, I'm going to weld those, I'm going to make a copy, I'm going to put this right, line them up, again as distance apart. I'm going to put this one on top. Send it all the way to the front. And I could go in and I could edit these little step things here. I could just go in and get my shapes and make just a smooth little transition there, but I like it like this. Now another thing that I can do at this point is put this on top again, get it lined up how I want it. I have a nice deep shadow there. I'm going to highlight both of those. I am going to slice, take that out, take that out, take that out, and now I have this really cool, just a shadow effect. If I didn't want, now I have these little pieces here that I can go in and I can remove right here. I wouldn't want just that little bit to cut, and that might even snag my blade. So what I would do is, if I were doing this in vinyl, that would be fine for print and cut. But if I were doing this with vinyl, I just want to make sure that I'm getting a good amount of, so I would probably actually just, that way I'm seeing that I don't have any slivers there. Okay, so now I'm going to click on both of those. I'm going to slice, pull these away, and now I have this nice bolder lettering. But look at, this is just the shadow. I mean, I just think that is really neat, you know, and a lot of fun to do. Get rid of those, and that would be so nice. I did one in cursive, and it just turned out just as nice as this. And it's just, you see your couple of shadows there, and then you can clearly read the word. Another thing is, say this was, I'll create one more. Say if I wanted different layers of, we'll say blue. So that's my dark blue. This is my my next dark blue, my lighter blue, and then maybe a white. So these could be, this could be a school name and school colors, or and again, it's just a matter of keeping it the same distance for each one of them as you stack them. Just that same distance. And then I could have the white. And that's kind of neat, you know, just having them stacked like that. And I just think this is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to stack these. Now I would go ahead and group those. Now if I was cutting these out, what I would do is, if this is not print and cut or sublimation, I would make a couple of duplicates of these. Duplicate it again. And now I want to get this whole section here. And I wouldn't want to cut out, I wouldn't want to stack these vinyl on top of vinyl on top of vinyl. So what I would do is here, I would take my top piece, delete it, my second top piece, delete it, and now I would take right here this and I would slice. Take that, get rid of it, this one and this one, and remembering that the bottom was the dark blue, so I want to get rid of anything that's not the dark blue here. So I have this. Now this one, I'm going to get rid of the top one and the bottom one, because this was the bottom one right here. Here, I'm going to slice, and it's the second darkest blue I want to get rid of. So for this one, I just want to get rid of the darkest blue in this section. So that's not a dark blue. That isn't. That's clearly not a shadow there. And now I have this that I can line right up in there, making sure no white space is showing. And now for this one, it's going to be, oops, I don't want to separate those until they slice. So this one, I want to get rid of the bottom one and the second bottom one. I want to keep a copy of the top right there, and now I'm going to slice these. Get rid of that, 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 and now I have this one, and I'm just going to keep placing these in. I can see where they need to go. So now I'm layering these all on the shirt. I mean, you have some small parts there, but you know, if you make the letters big enough, like say if this was a school, you wouldn't have to have a whole name. You would just have, say, CHS, so those letters could be pretty large, and those letters being pretty large, these shadow effects are going to be pretty large. And so now I can put this here. Of course, I wouldn't have this be white. Let's just go ahead and give this a color to compare. I could have this be, let's just say yellow again. And now I'll put this here. And I'd have to have a pretty good eye for lining this up on a shirt. But if you do, that's pretty cool. And you have each section and each layer cut out below it. So I hope you try these things. Please share and like my video. Please subscribe, because then you get notices when I do a new video. And if you click on the bell, you'll get an alert. And I'm going to start doing at least one video a week. I do videos for other cutters also, if you have those. And I hope you check out the Nearby Artisans website. What that is, it's not a place to sell. It's just a place to let the community where you live or where you sell know that you're there. A lot of people, they don't want to pay for shipping. They don't want the additional burden of that. Or some people, if they're traveling and coming through your area, they may want something local. If you do shirts for your city, maybe you do shirts of your courthouse or scenic sites in your area, and they want that custom shirt. And if you go to a custom t-shirt area, you usually have to buy a minimum or whatever. Let them know you're there. Let them know I make custom shirts local. Or another option is, say you deliver to your local hospital. People might want, you know, an elderly patient that's brought in, something nice given to them that's personalized, a new baby. You know, you could have a little diaper set taken there. You can have, you know, and if they can personalize it online, or maybe they want to pick it up when they get there. I mean, there's so many options to being listed on a website that says, these are the crafters in the area and this is what we offer. Anywhere from baking cookies that you deliver to, I mean, how many people would love to have cookies, custom-made cookies delivered to a hospital for a new baby to pass out instead of cigars? I mean, that would be such a cute thing. And so if you do those kind of things, be listed at Nearby Artisans. Let the community know that you're there. Let travelers know you're there, because you're able to put your location. And if you don't want to have your address, you work from home, then you could put some landmarks and people can go in and find the map for your area. And then they can see, like, okay, this person is located in the downtown area with these cross streets, and I'm going to be right there getting coffee or having lunch, and they'll meet me. So at least go check out the Nearby Artisans website and consider being added. It is a good thing, and I think that it's something that would really be necessary for crafters. So anyway, thank you for watching.